Hello and welcome to my channel. I'm Lucy and I play accordion. Today's video I want to show you my brand new Scandalli Air Junior that I just picked up yesterday. I'm dressed in this fun skirt because I actually just came back from a gig with the accordion. I filmed a video yesterday of me unboxing the accordion, but I didn't really know what I liked and didn't like about it because it was just straight out of the box. But now that I've had a gig, I feel like I have a better sense of what to talk about and how to compare it with the other two accordions that I've had in my life. If you don't know anything about me, I started playing accordion when I was 19. I'm self-taught, but I had piano lessons from the age of 9 till about 18, so I could already read treble and bass clef. If you like this video, let me know in the comments, give it a like, and if you have the same accordion as me, let me know and tell me what you think of it. I want to talk you through the 3 accordions that I've owned, starting with my Paloma. It was the first accordion I ever had. I didn't know anything about accordion. I didn't know if I would like it or not. So the Paloma was a good, safe choice for me. A bit about it, they're made in China. They actually come under a lot of different names. So if you haven't heard of it, I think that's because this label is specific to the music store I got it from. I got it from Music Junction in Melbourne back in 2013. When I was looking for my first accordion, I really had no one to guide me. I think I just came to the conclusion that a 72 bass was not too big, not too small, and I wanted brand new because I didn't know what to look for in a secondhand accordion. I think I probably would have got ripped off if I went secondhand because there's so many parts inside that you just don't know if they're working or not. Just having a quick look at it or having a quick play around when you don't even know how to play accordion. So I'm glad I went with the brand new. So the Paloma I got was about 800 Australian dollars. That was back in 2013 though, so I think it's gone up a little bit now. So basically it's 72 bass buttons. It's got no bass switches. It has 34 keys in the treble and 3 reeds. It was a low, middle tuning, and then 5 switches. I would show you it right now, but I don't actually have it anymore because I bought it here in Melbourne in 2013, and then I moved to the US in 2016 to live, and I had it shipped over to be with me. And then when I moved back to Australia, I didn't bring it back with me. So I just kind of donated it to family over there. Yeah, anyway, so I'll include a photo so you know what it looks like, and I'll tell you what I liked and what I didn't like about it. Okay, let's start with the pros. It's a pretty cheap instrument to start with. Like anything under $1,000 for your first instrument brand new, I think is pretty good. It worked well. I mean, it wasn't amazing, but it wasn't broken. It's not like it had been sitting in someone's garage for decades and was all moth-eaten and needing repair. So I didn't have to worry about that. I just got a brand new accordion that worked and I could just get stuck into learning. Another pro is that it's a pretty good size for me, at least. The size you want to start with is going to depend on how big you are, how strong you are, and what you intend to play on the accordion. For me, the 72 bass was good because it wasn't too giant. I didn't need 120 bass buttons. That would have just been a monster to try and handle. And it wasn't too restrictive like a 48 bass. It was right there in the middle where I could play most of the repertoire that I wanted to. The only things I couldn't play with the 72 bass was some of my French musettes, but I just sort of worked around and played different chords when I needed to. And because of the size, you can play standing or seated for hours at a time and not experience too much discomfort. But again, that will vary from individual to individual. I was happy that I started with this accordion because it helped me figure out what I liked and what I didn't like. I knew that I really loved the musette and I wanted more of like a wet, old Frenchy musette sound. So I knew from that my next accordion would be a triple musette. I also knew that I wanted more switches, more variation, and something a little bit bigger because some of my repertoire couldn't be played on the accordion. But it was good to help me figure out what I wanted and how I could spend my money. Okay, on to the cons. It didn't really feel like a luxury item. It just felt a little bit cheap in some ways. Like, for example, the bass buttons weren't actually aligned straight. Like, they all kind of went in on random angles. So as you're feeling around, they're not all in place. It's a weird feeling, but I didn't know it was a weird feeling because I'd never played anything else. They're also really wobbly, like they don't feel secure in place. So they kind of like rattle and wobble under your finger, which isn't really helpful when you're trying to move around quickly and they're all kind of wobbling underneath you. But again, the stuff I was playing wasn't too technical back then, so it was fine, but definitely not something that I would want on my accordion now. Another con is that there are no bass switches, and it's not something that really became a problem until I wanted to play around with the voicings in the treble. If I wanted to play with the single clarinet, one middle register, the bass was too loud and dominating, it just overpowered it, couldn't really hear it. So I pretty much only played with the musette switch because it was the only one that felt like properly balanced with the bass. The keyboard on the Paloma was a bit clackety, like when you would lift your finger off of a key, it would kind of like snap back. Something you wouldn't want in like a nice recording, for example. But again, back then I wasn't really doing recordings on my YouTube or anything, so it wasn't a problem. The Paloma was quite heavy for its size. I think it was 8.2 kilograms according to the website I bought it from. I've never actually weighed it myself. But given that it's only got 3 reeds in the treble and it hasn't really got a lot going on inside, like it's quite heavy. For example, my Junior is about the same weight and it can do so much more, it sounds so much better. So yeah, the Paloma is kind of a bit heavier than what you would expect for something that can only do what it does. And also some of the treble reeds were louder than others. Like there were some notes that just would not come out at all. I remember there was a D that when I played just the single clarinet, it just wouldn't make a sound. Like I'd have to tear into the bellows to get it to make a noise, which, you know, wasn't convenient at all. So I would have to play with the musette because the other reed worked. So that was the only way I could get a sound from the D. And it was only, I think, when I was coming in with the bellows, and I was told by the music store that it just needed to be warmed up and like opened, but I don't think that's really true. I think it was just poorly made, to be honest. It never improved. And lastly, the bellows were kind of crunchy. It was like every time they opened, they made this audible like unfolding noise. I think it's just, I guess, the materials they were made of. It was just kind of stiff and like crunchy. Yeah, but I think that's the last con. So overall, I don't regret my purchase. Yeah, I think it was a good one to start with. All right, moving on to my next accordion, which was my Scandalli Air I. I purchased this in 2017 from Liberty Bellows in the US when I was living there. They shipped it down to me in North Carolina. I think I paid about $4,500 US, and it took me a really long time to choose what I wanted. I actually went to the Liberty Bellows store and spent 3 hours playing all their accordions. It was actually so nice that they let me take up so much of their time because I didn't even buy anything when I left because what I wanted was the bell tuner, which was way out of my price range. I think it was about $6,000 US. So I walked away and then I sat on it and thought about it for a few months and like saved. And then I decided that it was the Scandalli Air I that I really wanted. Okay, so here is the case that comes with the Scandalli Air I. Very nice, sturdy, secure, not as flimsy as the one that came with my Paloma. The case comes with a little set of keys, which I have never used. Here's the Scandalli logo. Someone pointed out to me once that it's off center, and now that's all I can see. Anyway, that's not what it's about. It's what's on the inside that counts. So I better put this down and get it out. Both of my Scandallis came with this beautiful dust cover. I keep it on my accordion all the time when I'm not playing it. And here she is. From the moment I picked it up and started playing it, I was like, oh my gosh, this is what playing the accordion is. Like, I've never really played accordion before until this moment. It was just amazing. Massive, massive difference from my Paloma. Still, so much love to my Paloma wherever she is. I hope she's doing well, being loved, being squeezed. But I was ready for something different, and this came with the perfect time. Let's have a look. It's 96 bass buttons, which was an upgrade from my 72. It meant I could play a little bit more repertoire. I've got 3 bass switches. I pretty much mostly only use the master, and the treble has 37 keys. 4 reeds. I've got the low, middle tuning, the triple musette, and 11 switches. Something that was really embarrassing at the time that I got this. I was unpacking it. You know, the straps come separate to the accordion, so you put them on, and I was putting it all together, and I was removing all the plastic, and I had to open the base because when you get a new accordion that's shipped to you, there'll be like cardboard in the base to keep everything together, so you have to like open it and take it out. And in the process, I saw this on the back, and I was like, what on earth is this? That's some fancy packaging. Seems a bit overkill. So I pulled it off, got these buttons, and I I didn't throw it out, thank goodness. I just like put it under my bed. And then shortly after having this accordion, I had to send it back to Liberty Bellows for repair. It was under warranty, so they did it for free. It was this B flat. It was sticking. I'd play it and it would stay down until I picked it back up. So it was just ruining everything I played. It could be that I lived in North Carolina. It was like the summer, it was really humid. So, things, keep your accordion out of heat, please. Anyway, so they fixed it for me. And while they were there, they were like, oh dear, we've either lost this or you never gave it to us. And in that moment, I realized I was an idiot, and I took off an essential part of the accordion. So I fished it out from underneath my bed, and I've been using it ever since. And I realized the purpose now, obviously, is to protect the bellows and to protect you. So many times my Paloma pinched my clothing. Now I don't have to worry about that. I wonder if I can put the strap on. Ooh. Oh my god, I love this detail. It's so pretty, and you can see the inside mechanic. It doesn't have straps on it. Wow, it's got this fine thing on the back. I guess that's to protect it. Let's talk about the pros. I love the straps. They're so nice and soft. They're made of this leather strap on the back, and on the inside it's all like this plush, soft, spongy material. And even after years and years of wearing this for hours and hours, it's still really soft. It hasn't flattened or lost any of its volume. You can kind of feel a bit of a contour where it obviously makes more of a contact with my body. But yeah, I'm in no need of a replacement anytime soon. It's also the left hand strap as well, and this is just so nice to have. Like, I already have a red mark on my hand from playing the Junior today for 2 hours because the Junior doesn't have the same plush. Really nice feature, love it. I wish every accordion came with it. Can we make that a thing? Also, my Scandalli came with a back strap, which I'd never seen before. I didn't have one on my Paloma, never thought about one, but now that I've got it, it's essential. I would never play without one. It's so important for your posture. And the funny thing is, like, this is like bolted into my strap. But I had a student recently buy the exact same accordion from Liberty Bellows, did not come with a back strap. Had to be ordered separately. Okay, let's talk about the pros. It's obviously just so beautiful. It's so elegant. Some accordions just, they look like machines, just ugly machines that sound nice, but the Scandallis sound beautiful and look even more beautiful. And I love that the grill, like, you can see the mechanics inside. Oh, it's gorgeous. I love the pearl keys. They've got these gorgeous little studs for your markings on the C and the E. The first thing I noticed about the Scandalli Air I is the expressive potential. As soon as I started playing it, it was just like... I could go from 0 to 100 with minimal effort, and I felt like with the Paloma, it took so much strength to try and get like a forte, and pianissimo like didn't exist. It'd be like forte, and then you'd come down and the sound would just cut off. So it made it difficult to end phrases really nicely, because as you were trying to like bring the volume down, it would just cut out, it would disappear. But the Scandalli is just... You just can't achieve that on something that's made cheaply. I guess you get what you pay for. So although this is 10 kilos, it's still not too heavy to stand and play with. I guess that's going to depend on individual like body shapes and strength and whatever. But when I got this accordion, I wasn't particularly strong. I hadn't been playing long enough. I hadn't really built up the muscles that you need, but I was still able to play standing for like a short amount of time. Now I'm at the point where I can play standing for like 5 hours, you know, with breaks, and I can still do it. It's uncomfortable at the end, but it's still possible. So it's at like that sweet in between where it's not so small and lightweight that you can't project volume and that you don't have, you know, the range that you need. It's got all of that, but you can also wear it standing. I'll just play around with my go-to switches and the styles I like to play the most. So at the time that I got this accordion, I was playing pretty much only French music, and I really love that old wet triple musette sound. So that's my go-to even today. I play it all the time. So I use the master in the bass, the triple musette in the treble. I tend to go for the single middle clarinet reed, and then I go for this is so quick, because the Scandalli is so responsive, like you can separate the dynamics from note to note and still get it to respond quickly and not have like a delayed lagging effect. With my Paloma, I felt like it took so much effort to get from piano to forte that it would take multiple notes to get there, whereas I can do it so quickly and like make certain notes pop and then make other ones fade away. It's just a different experience. Okay, and when I'm doing my Oktoberfest style polkas, I usually go for the master or like the low, middle, and this instrument can get so loud. So I can play this in a beer hall where people are drunk and talking and laughing, and I can still, I mean, it takes a lot of force, but I can still get it to project enough that people can hear it. That I have about this accordion, they're not really that bad at all, and one of them is just specific to what I chose. It doesn't have the piccolo register, and I knew I wasn't gonna get the piccolo. I wanted the triple musette because that's all I was playing at the time. Now that my repertoire style has expanded, I really do regret not having the piccolo, but I wouldn't change my triple musette, so instead I've just got another accordion that has a piccolo. Anyways, that's my Scandalli Air I. I love it. I'm so happy with my purchase. I don't think I'll ever get rid of this. Alright, here's the Junior. Case is slightly different, but it's kind of got, this case feels a little more sturdy. Like it's got these corner protectory things. Also comes with keys. So let's open it up and have a look. Alright, so the Junior also comes with a dust cover, and voila, here she is. Red, what do you think? I decided to go with red as a tribute to my Paloma. She was red, also had the white bellows with the red trim, and yeah, I'm very, very happy. It's just a classic color, red. Just can't go past it. The straps, you know, also have this leather part, and then on the other side it's also just more leather. It's kind of spongy, but it's not as thick and soft as the Air one. And I did have a 2-hour gig today where I played the Junior and I felt the difference. So I might consider buying some of the other ones, particularly with the left hand strap. The other things that are slightly different, it's mostly the same, like it's the same facade, same grille, because all the Air models have the prettiest grille. The bass button, so we've got 72 bass buttons here, so we're missing a few rows either side, which is fine. It's only going to mean there's like a small handful of French musettes that I can't play, but most of my repertoire will fit fine. Also got 3 left-hand switches, and in the treble we've got 34 keys. So we're losing 3. You're losing an F sharp, and then an F up here. Won't affect too much of my repertoire. And this is low, middle, high tuning because I wanted to have a piccolo. I just wanted some different voicings to play around with. One thing that is different with the bass side is that we're kind of a little bit cheaper. We don't have any diamantes. We've just got like an impression for the C. It's like concave. And then for the other two around it, it's like a rough, it's a scratchy pattern. And I have to say, although it doesn't look as nice in my opinion, it's actually way more practical because they feel very, very different to the keys around them. And like there's no mistaking when you were on that button. This accordion didn't come with a back strap, but the retailer I bought it from gave me one. I'm still figuring out how to best adjust it because it's not bolted in like the Air I. It's kind of freestanding, so I need to figure out where I want it. I also had to use a leather hole puncher to punch holes into the straps of the Air I. Like I had to punch a lot of holes. Like every time I'm like, yep, surely that's tight enough. I'd punch a hole, put it on, I'd be like, no, there's not enough. I had to punch like 3 more holes before I was like, yep, that's secure enough. So I might have to do something similar with the Junior. I'm not sure yet because I have it as tight as it goes at the moment. All right, so why did I get this accordion? Well, prior to the pandemic and during the pandemic, I wasn't getting a lot of gigs. And when I did, it was just like 1 or 2 hours, which is fine to do on my Scandalli. But when you're doing multiple gigs a day and you're doing it like every day of the week, it was really starting to put a strain on my shoulders. So I wanted something a little bit smaller where I could still perform. I'd be able to play most of my repertoire. I wouldn't be making too many sacrifices, but it wouldn't be as heavy. So that's when I settled on this. I got this from Music Junction, the same store I got my first accordion from, the Paloma. I had it custom made, so I had to wait 5 months to get this from Italy. But it's exactly what I want, so it was worth it. It was about 7,000 Australian dollars. This accordion is 8.5 kilos. It is 1.5 kilos lighter than the Scandalli Air I, and it is kind of similar, like maybe a couple pounds heavier than the Paloma. So given it is very similar, almost the same weight as a Paloma, it can do a lot more. Like the Paloma only had 3 treble reeds, you've got 4 here. It had no switches in the bass. Yeah, it just was heavy and clunky, didn't project as nice of a loud clear tone as the Junior does. The musette that comes with this accordion is not as like wet tuned as I usually like, which is fine. I can get that changed down the track if I want to. So I'll show you what my French music sounds like now. See? So I feel like this accordion is less responsive when it comes to changes in pressure on the bellows and how it translates to dynamics. I'm trying to phrase down and it's kind of going whereas on the Scandalli Air I would get a much more graceful end of phrase. The clarinet register is more like mellow and muffled and warm than it is on my Scandalli Air I. Like, yeah. It's just softer, I feel like. But that's okay, because when I was playing today, I got to experiment with the piccolo and actually really like playing the Irish music with like a low and a high, because it almost sounds like there's 2 instruments duetting. Like I can't play as loud. It's like the dynamic range of my Air I is here from like fortissimo to pianissimo, and then for the junior it's kind of like that, and then the Paloma it's like that. It is worth it though. The trade-off with the volume and the dynamic control for the lighter instrument is definitely worth it for me. I felt much more comfortable during my gig. I didn't get like tired and cranky by the end of it. And this is a brand new instrument, so I'm not sure if like over time the reeds will open up a little bit more. I have been told that it can take a little bit of time for that to happen with a brand new accordion. So we'll see how it goes over the next few months. I'm sure I'm going to be playing this every day, so I'll be able to see soon enough if that's the case. Anyway, so that's the Scandalli Air Junior. I'm still kind of getting to know it, but if you have any questions about either of the 3 accordions that I've mentioned today, just put it in the comments. And if you have the same accordion as me, let me know. Thanks so much for watching. I will see you for the next video. Make sure you subscribe. Bye!